I recently canceled one of my D&D games. I have for quite some time now run 4 different games. I have my Youngling game, I have my Curse of Strahd game, I have my Ancient Dragon Patreon game, and I have my Wonder Panda campaign. And the Wonder Panda campaign is the game that I was running at work for some coworkers. We would run it every Friday. And for quite some time now, I just haven't been having a whole lot of fun in that game. It has felt to me like work. Every Friday would come along, and here's the thing. Instead of me thinking, oh, it's Friday, D&D, I would think, oh, it's Friday. That means from 12 to 1:30, I have to run D&D. I'd rather go to the gym.
Before we jump in, I will let you know that I recently overhauled how my Patreon works. Now, my patrons will be receiving monthly PDFs chock full of Dungeon Master resources such as adventure ideas, magic items, pre-made encounters, traps, new monsters, and even entire D&D adventures. That's on top of other benefits such as access to a patron-only Discord channel, voting on videos I make, getting access to the homebrew adventures and notes that I use in my own personal D&D games, and even playing D&D with me. So if that sounds like something you might like, there is a link to my Patreon page left conveniently below.
All right. Make Luke rant. Can you rant about how it's not just the players who need to have fun playing, i.e. the DM needs to have fun too? So there's some people that will tell you that the Dungeon Master's job is to make the players have fun. Or they'll tell you that what the Dungeon Master is really supposed to do is that they will tell you that the Dungeon Master is responsible for the fun of the game. And that if the players aren't having fun, it's the Dungeon Master's fault. And they'll try to tell you this, that it's your job as the Dungeon Master to make other people have fun. I would say that, first of all, as the Dungeon Master, you can't make other people have fun. You cannot literally force people to have fun. It is not your job to make other people have fun. You can't do that. It is impossible. It is a job that your performance evaluation every single year will be a needs improvement. It's not going to happen. What you can do as the Dungeon Master is create as much as possible, and you can try to create an environment where people have the opportunity to have fun. But that's really all you can do, is create that environment, which means prepping your game, running your game, making your game as fun as possible, tailoring your game to your players. But creating that environment where fun is possible is all you really can do. That's all that you can really be held responsible for as a Dungeon Master. Because the truth of the matter is that sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes people don't have fun. And it has nothing to do with you as the Dungeon Master. It has nothing to do with your failings as a Dungeon Master, that you didn't do a good enough job, that you were a bad Dungeon Master. There are many wonderful, awesome Dungeon Masters out there that have had players that have not had fun. I guarantee you that I have had many players who came to my games, played for a little bit, and said, I'm not having fun. Is that a comment on me as a Dungeon Master? Not necessarily. It might be, but not necessarily. It could just not be a good fit. What they're looking for in the game is different than the environment that I was providing for them. Or it could be that there was tension or conflict between players. You might just have a player who is just not a good fit for your group, and it's just not going to work out. So sometimes there's a mismatch of alignment there, of just the personalities and preferences and gameplay and stuff like that. So you can't force people to have fun. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about with this point. And I haven't actually gotten to the actual thing here. So now we're saying, so you definitely, as a Dungeon Master, you do want your players to have fun. In fact, I would say that a big motivating factor for me as a Dungeon Master is seeing my players have fun, seeing that they're enjoying the game. I love going back and watching gameplays of my own where I see the players laughing and they're joking and they're having fun. And that to me is a validating experience because, I ran a cool game, my players had fun, they enjoyed themselves. And that is fulfilling as a dungeon master, to know that I was a key part of putting together that game, that group, and making it possible for fun to happen, and then observing my players and knowing that they had fun. So that is a very validating, important thing for me as a dungeon master. So I definitely want that, you know. But as much as we're talking about the players having fun, if the dungeon master is not having fun, that game is doomed. The game is doomed. The dungeon master has to do a lot of work to run these games. There's a lot of prep time. There's even during the game, it takes skill to run a good D&D game. Not just anybody can just start running D&D and have it be a fun, awesome, cool game. It takes some skill, it takes practice. It takes observing the moments in the game, paying attention, and making conscious decisions to do certain things. So you have work before the game to prep the game, all the different things that go into prepping the game. And then you have the effort during the... I cannot tell you how easy it is for me to be a player and just sit back and let other people do things, let the DM describe things, and then I, of course, run my own player, my own character, but I'm just running one guy. It is the easiest thing in the world to roleplay one character. So it's easy peasy. But as the dungeon master during the game, you're running lots of stuff. You're in charge of lots of stuff. You're adjudicating, you're running the NPCs, you're running combat, you're very, very busy, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's effort. Now, I will argue that it's very fun for me as a dungeon master to do those things. I enjoy doing those things. But it does take work. You can work, but also have fun while you're working. It is possible, but there takes effort to doing that. So back to my original statement. If the dungeon master is not having fun, that game is doomed. If you're not having fun as a dungeon master running your game, if you're not feeling fulfilled and you're not feeling like, yes, I enjoy doing this, then that game's not going to last very long. Your enthusiasm is going to lag. Probably the effort you put forth into the game is going to lower, and then almost assuredly the enjoyment that your players derive out of that game is going to fall. Because if you're not having fun and you're not giving your heart and soul to it and really enjoying it and going for it, your players will probably not have as fun of a game. Their fun is going to decrease, and then you're going to, it's almost like a self-defeating circle. You're not going to be having fun. Therefore, the game's not as good. Therefore, your players have less fun. You see your players having less fun, and then you have less fun because you know that you're not running a super fun game for them. And so it's like a death spiral if the DM is not having fun. If the DM is burnt out, if their heart is no longer in it, that game is probably not going to last very long. It probably has like a half-life of, maybe a few months or something. Eventually, it's going to just fall apart as the dungeon master is like, guys, done. I don't want to do it anymore, guys. So it's very important for the dungeon master to be having fun, which means that dungeon master, your preferences, the things that you like doing in the game are of supreme importance. You need, like, some people will tell you that you should customize your game and just do things that your players will enjoy. Like, just find out what your players want and just do that, because then you're gonna be helping them have fun. But the dungeon master's gotta have fun too. So that means that as a dungeon master, you need to be thinking about the things that you enjoy in the game. What makes the game fun for you? What do you enjoy doing? And you have to be doing those things. You need to be doing the things that you enjoy in the game that makes the game fun for you. Is it world building? Do you like creating worlds and stuff like that? Then you need to do some world building. If it's running cool, fun NPCs with really weird, crazy voices, then you need to do those things. So yes, you 100% do want to customize your game and cater your game to your players' preferences, 100%. But you gotta make sure you are also doing it for yourself, and that you're doing things in your game that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to have fun doing. Otherwise, your fun's gonna die, and then via various processes that I just got done describing, the game probably will not last very long. So you must make sure you're doing the things in the game that you enjoy doing as well. I recently canceled one of my D&D games. I have for quite some time now run 4 different games. I have my Youngling game, I have my Curse of Strahd game, I have my Ancient Dragon Patreon game, and I have my Wonder Panda campaign. And the Wonder Panda campaign is the game that I was running at work for some coworkers. We would run it every Friday. And for quite some time now, I just haven't been having a whole lot of fun in that game. It has felt to me like work. Every Friday would come along, and here's the thing. Instead of me thinking, oh, it's Friday, D&D, I would think, oh, it's Friday. That means from 12 to 1:30, I have to run D&D. I'd rather go to the gym. I actually like going to the gym. I'd rather go to the gym. I would rather. I found myself for quite some time now. I've been feeling this way. I did not have the enthusiasm to run that game. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't enjoying it. Now, sometimes I would have fun during the game, but I wouldn't look forward to running the game. I wouldn't look forward to creating adventures. I wouldn't look forward to it. And I was finding myself unfulfilled by it and not even enjoying it. And in all honesty, I probably I actually had written out an email to these guys to cancel the game probably about 2 months ago. I never sent the email because I felt bad, because I know that my players were enjoying the game and that they wanted to keep on playing. So out of a sense of obligation or maybe guilt, because if I cancel the game, they're gonna not like it and they're gonna feel bad. That makes me feel bad. So even though I a couple months ago kind of wanted to stop playing, I didn't do it. And it was mostly out of obligation to them because I didn't want to let them down. But I wasn't having fun and I wasn't enjoying it. And that probably came across in the game to them. I'm guessing they were observant enough to notice that my heart wasn't really in it anymore. But eventually, it was actually this last Friday, I finally was like, you know what, Luke, you need to do this. And I just wrote them. I was like, you guys, I think I gotta take a break. I think I'm done. I don't want to keep playing anymore because I wasn't having fun, you know. And so part of it is playing online. We used to play in person and it was a lot different. And so part of the reason I lost heart a little bit, it was that we're playing online and I just didn't like it as much for that particular group. Now the other groups still having fun. I still enjoy Curse of Strahd. Youngling group is great. Ancient Dragon. So I'm still having fun in those games, you know, but I wasn't having fun in this game. And so I was like, okay, we're done. I can't do this anymore. And we might re-examine that in the future. So point is this. You need to have fun as a dungeon master. Do the things in your game that will cause you to have fun, that you enjoy doing. It's a halfway. The players meet you halfway. There are some elements of the game that you give to them because you know it's fun for them. There are other, and it might not be fun for you. There might be things you do in your game that you don't personally find fun, but you're doing it for your players, and that's good. But you got to have those things that you also reserve for yourself that are fun for you. Now, hopefully they're also fun for your players too. So there needs to be a balance there. And if you don't have that balance, you're probably going to burn out as a DM and you're probably not going to want to run the game. And in all honesty, Dungeon Masters, if you're not having fun, why the heck are you doing it? Like, Dungeon Master's a Dungeon Master. Like, we know that it's a lot of work. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? You're probably not getting paid. So why do it if you're not having fun? So find your fun and run a game that's fun for you and fun for your players. Then everybody will be happy.